Caitlin Clark is gone, not injured, no Treston gone. Minutes ago, news broke that the WNBA has quietly pushed Shade her out of the spotlight, and fans are losing their minds. But that's not the wildest part, because the second this hit, the headlines. Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull exploded in a way nobody saw coming. No more silence, no more playingness. They didn't hold back. What they revealed is shaking the entire league from the inside. This isn't just about one player being benched. This is about power, favoritism, media manipulation, and a league caught red-handed. Trying to control its stars, the moment Sophie and Lexie stepped, opened to expose the truth, the internet lit in fire. And what's happening right now could change the WNBA forever. You better strap in, because this story isn't just beginning. It started with a whisper. Then her name vanished from the starting lineup. Then the press notice Edge wasn't warming up. Injury report, no official statement, just gone. Caitlin Clark, the biggest rookie star of WNBA has ever seen, sudden Litherland, in what fans are calling the most suspicious disappearance in Liga story. Within minutes, speculation erupted like wildfire. Some insiders claimed it was load management. Others hinted at disciplinary reasons. Others the kicker. Those same insiders also admitted that something felt off, way off. Because this wasn't just irregular benching. Caitlin hadn't broken any rules. She hadn't missed practice. She hadn't performed poorly. In fact, she was leading her team in points, assists, and headlines. So why would WNBA remove the one player who was single-handedly driving ratings, filling arenas, and bringing in a wave of new fans? Then came the leaks. Sources closeto, the league began whispering about unspoken conflicts between Clark and high-ranking league officials. Apparently, her outspoken attitude, her refusal to stay quiet during post-game interviews, and her growing influence on social media didn't sit well with Iverian in charge. She wasn't just a player anymore. She was a phenomenon of voice. And some executives didn't like that. One particularly damning rumor suggests that during a closed-door meeting, Caitlin pushed back against league marketing decisions, calling them tentative and out of touch with Athens. Within 48 hours, her menu test started to drop. Within 72 hours, show as benched, and now she's practically erased. No press conference, no media access, no statement from her team, just a cold, quiet blackout like they're trying to erase her momentum before it becomes something they can't control. But if the WNBA thought people wouldn't notice, they were dead wrong. Because the fans didn't just notice, they got loud. Social media exploded with the hashtag number. Where is Caitlin? Thousands dented answers. Comment sections flooded with angry messages. And even NBA stars chimed in, calling the move shady, calculated, and disrespectful tough game. The silence from the league only made it worse. But this wasn't just about silence anymore. It was a butchelancing. And that's when Sophie Cunningham stepped in, and everything changed. Sophie Cunningham didn't wait. While reporters scrambled for answer, Sand fans flooded the league's inbox with outrage. Sophie went scorched earth. During a fiery post-game interview, she skipped the usual cliches and dropped a verbal bomb that left everyone stunned. You don't sideline your biggest staring list, you're scared of her power. That single sentence traveled faster than anything the WNBA's PR team could control. Clips of Sophie's bold call out at every social platform like MSL, and she didn't stop there. On her podcast, in team meetings, even on live broadcasts, Sophie called it exactly what it was. Retaliation. She accused the WNBA of playing political games with players' careers. She slammed the league for being more interested in control than progress. And said what most athletes were too afraid to admit publicly. Clark wasn't benched for basketball reasons. She was. Fans rallied behind her instantly. Hashtags turned into movements. Number stand with Sophie and number frick Clark Bagan trending side by side. Her congratulate a match the league never expected on. The flames were spreading fast. But Sophie wasn't standing alone for long. Because the very next day, Lexie Hull stepped up and made it clear she was ready for war too. Lexie Hull didn't post a statement. She didn't do an interview. She walked into the press room after practice, looked straight into the cameras and said, "If Caitlin Clark can be treated like this, what do you think they'll do to the rest of us?" That was it. There's no fluff, no corporate tone, just a raw, unfiltered truth. Bomb that silenced the entire room and cracked the WNBA wide open. That one sentence turned into a wildfire. That clip went viral instantly, not just among WNBA fans, but across all off sports. Commentators from ESPN to YouTube were suddenly asking the same question. What the hell is going on behind closed doors at the WNBA? Lexie wasn't done. In a follow-up post, she shared a black and white photo of herself and Caitlin with one word in the caption: loyalty. That photo triggered a storm of interpretations. Was she exposing betrayal inside the locker room? Was it aimed at management, at teammates? No one could say for sure. The timing couldn't be ignored. Sources say Lexie has been one of the most vocal voices in team meetings ever since the drama started. One leaked report claims she challenged coaching staff directly, asking why the only player drawing sellouts is suddenly on the bench. Teammates reportedly backed her up. Whispers of a fracture inside a locker room became headlines overnight. Even more shocking, Lexie hinted that players from multiple teams have been quietly discussing the situation off the record. Behind the scenes and under growing pressure, to stay silent. She's reportedly helping organize a coalition of younger players who feel the league is stuck in old politics and fear losing everything if they speak out. And then came the cryptic tweets. Lexie posted then to let a message that read, "If you want to build a legacy, stop silencing the ones who create it." Fans screenshotted it immediately. Spread across Reddit, TikTok, and fan pages like wildfire. Some believe it was aimed directly at WNBA executives. Others think it wasn't it for media figures trying to downplay the controversy. But everyone agreed. On one thing, Lexie wasn't just reacting. She was taking a stand at her. Sophie and Lexie had just formed a front line. In the league, it was now facing a full-blown uprising. But while the players were speaking out, the fans weren't just watching quietly. They were already launching a digital rebellion of their own. The moment Sophie and Lexie spoke out, the fans followed. And they didn't just speak, they roared. Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, TikTok, it all went nuclear. Hashtags like #Justice for Clark, #Free Caitlin, and #Stop Silencing Stars exploded in real time. Sports forums were overrun. WNBA posts were bombarded with angry comments. And within 24 hours, the entire internet had turned this story into something Thelly could no longer ignore. Fans began compiling evidence, timestamps, clips, quotes, side-by-side comparisons, off-layer treatment. Some showed how Caitlin was being shoved during games without calls. Others pointed out the bizarre drop in her minutes despite stellar performances. There were freeze frames of referees ignoring clear fouls. Fans even tracked how WNBA's social media channels had reduced their Clark coverage in the past few days, accusing. But while fans were tearing through the internet demanding answers, the WNBA's official response, a cold, polished statement that only made things worse. After nearly 2 days of public outrage, the WNBA finally broke its silence, and it was worse than saying nothing. A carefully worded corporate flavor red statement was pushed out across their official channels. It didn't name Caitlin Clark. It didn't acknowledge the controversy. It didn't even address the growing accusations of silencing players. Instead, it chalked everything up to a strategic rotational decision and urged fans to trust the process. The backlash was immediate. Fans didn't buy it, reporters didn't buy it, and players definitely didn't buy it. In fact, a phrasing of the statement only confirmed what people were already thinking. This was a cover-up, a calculated attempt to downplay a decision that had already triggered a full-on rebellion. The league's PR playbook was in full effect vague. Words, no ownership, and total avoidance of the truth. But this wasn't to 004. Fans are smarter. Social media doesn't forget. And when you try to spin a story this big, it only gets bigger. Sophie Cunningham responded to Thalik's statement with a subtle eye-roll emoji on Twitter. No caption, no extracament, but that one emoji racked up tens of thousands of likes in minutes. The The message was loud and clear. "We see right through you," Lexie Hall reposted, a clip of the statement being read on air with the caption, "So, we're pretending this is normal now." The sarcasm was razor sharp, and fans ate it up. Even veteran analysts started turning. One former WNBA player tweeted, "Rotational decisions don't erase your MVP candidate at a reason. Something else is going on, and it stinks." And then Ember's brutal. Merch sales for Caitlin Clark jerseys reportedly plummeted over ticket. Returns surged 4 games she was no longer expected to play. YouTube clips of her highlights started getting flooded with comments like, "Rip to the only reason I watched." Cities that had been selling out arenas for the first time in years where, suddenly, staring at empty seats, sponsors were watching too. What the league failed to realize was this. When you silence one voice, a dozen others rise up to take its place, and that's exactly what started happening next. Because behind the closed doors of multiple locker rooms, alliances were forming, and players were getting ready to fight back from within, while the WNBA tried to patch up its image with spin. Behind the scenes, a much deeper fracture was forming. Locker rooms weren't just tense, they were splitting apart. Players who used Tola together before games were now whispering in corners, avoiding eye contact and questioning who was loyal to whom. The situation wasn't just controversial anymore. It was radioactive. According to sources close to multiple franchises, a growing divide was forming across the league. Veterans versus newcomers, silence versus rebellion, loyalty to the badge versus loyalty to the truth. On one side were long-time pros who had spent years navigating. They'd already spoken out. They'd already stood up. But Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hall weren't finished. Because just when things started to cool down, they came back swinging. And this time, they weren't just reacting. They were issuing a full-blown warning. In a joint interview broadcast live across sports networks, Sophie and Lexie looked straight into the camera and didn't flinch. No smiles, no diplomacy, just truth. Sophie dropped a line that broke the internet. "If this is how you treat this player built your league, no one's safe." It was ruthless, unapologetically real, and it hit like a punch to the gut. Their room fell silent. Reporters were stunned. "You could feel the weight off Hut," she just said, because it wasn't just about Caitlin anymore. It was a boodle of them. Every player, every voice at league tried to suppress. Lexie followed it up without missing a beat. "We've been told to stay quiet for too long. Not anymore." Boom. That was it. The line in the sand had been drawn. The message was clear. The era of fear, is over. The stars are done playing by the league's unspoken rules. If the one can't protect its players, then its players will protect each other. Clips off the interview immediately went viral. Commentators called it the most honest mint in league history. Fans erupted in support. NBA players retweeted it with fire emojis and clapping hands. Even rival WNBA stars began liking and reposting the footage. Some with subtle captions like "finally" or "say it louder,"